Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Oaklawn Park here on Sunday. It's the 2nd of April, 2023. Gonna look at the 8th race from Oaklawn, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. The 8th from Oaklawn, it's the Temperence Hill Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going 2,400 meters or a mile and 1/2 on the main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Warrant. Let's go 4-3-6-2 in the superfecta. 4-3-6-2 super. Top selection of 4-horse Warrant. This 5-year-old horse by constitution. Brad Cox trains this one. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the Santa Anita handicap at Santa Anita. 4th March over the mile and a quarter, and the horse finished 8th by 16 lengths that day. And the horse just never really got comfortable. He was bumped out of the break, had to steady a couple times, and it cost him a little bit that day. He just kind of hit the wall. It wasn't the day to win. Refreshing here, going to a mile and a half, which I think he absolutely adores to trip. Gets a little bit closer. I think he get back to his winning ways. Last year, this year's Santa Anita handicap came up a little bit tough and tougher than the last few years. So he's getting some class relief here today. 2 back here at the fairgrounds, 26th of January, mile 70 and optional 80. He won by 1/4 lengths, and from a tracking position, he basically got the lead at the top lane. He quickened up nicely off of it, and he went away with it. A very good run for it being his first start since the Cornhusker handicap. That was at Prairie Meadows, mile 8th on the 9th of July. He finished 3rd by 2 1/4 lengths that day. He sat back early. He moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything to call home about. And then prior to that, at Belmont, a mile and a half in the Brooklyn Invitational, he finished 2nd by 2 3/4 lengths behind Fearless that day. Again, not the best of beginnings that day where he was bumped out of the gate. He gained a little bit late, but it wasn't anything, to call home about there. And then in the Ben Alley before that, Keeneland over the mile and 8th, he finished 4th by 3 lengths. Again, was with him early on. He won a little bit more, but he still ran his heart out. He's won twice in the last year and a half. Once last time, 2 back at the fairgrounds, and before that, you have to go back to the Oklahoma Derby at Remington, a mile and 8th in September of 2021. Winning by 1 3/4 lengths from a tracking position. He came back clear. Actually placed in last year's Santa Anita handicap. Coming here today, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets the job done. You also have to use a 3-horse strong tide for Michael Lauer. Ricardo Santana Jr. gets the mount. Hasn't been seen since the Belmont Gold Cup over the 2 miles on the Widener Turf Course, 10th of June. He finished 3rd by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and he was with them early on. He had a lead. He got overtaken, just wasn't staying the 2, but he ran his heart out there. It was a quick turnaround also. 3 weeks prior, he ran the Louisville Stakes at Churchill, mile and a half on the lawn. He finished 12th by 4 3/4 lengths that day. Had a very troubled trip, which cost him there. And then last year's Temperance Hill, he finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths. And, he just wasn't really getting going. But I think he wants to stay the trip. He does decent on dirt, when he runs on it. I'm going to give him a shot here. He did win going a mile and a half here in February 2022, coming home with a 102 buyer, winning by 10.5. He was much the best. The 6-horse Lone Rock wouldn't surprise me if he wins either. His last 2 have been subpar races. Over the mile 3/4 at Saratoga and the Birdstone, he had a very disappointing 3rd place finish. Excuse me. Pellegrino's going to come up now. He just wasn't keeping up there in the Birdstone. Before then, the Brooklyn, you saw a very tired horse. But he won the Isaac Murphy Marathon very nicely at Churchill in Losop in May. And won this race very nicely last year by a next small margin victory, but he got the job done. Coming here today, I'll give him a shot. Like I said, he likes Oaklawn. He likes this trip of ground. He's 7-5 at a mile and a half. So watch out for him here today. To recap my selection for the 8th from Oaklawn, it is the Temperance Hill. Let's take the 4-horse Warrant. Give kudos to the 3-horse Strong Chide and the 6-horse Lone Rock. 4-3-6-2 Super. 4-3-6 in your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.